Am I live? It's exciting, isn't it? Oh, I'm very new to this, you know. Hello! I just shouted in Leona's ear again. I'm sorry. Okay, so when I get loud, just letting you know, Leona is in my ear. When I get loud, she gets her ears blown off. So the idea is to get me all excited and blow her ears off every night. So, oh no, Wheel of Doom. Okay, we'll see. Okay, it's Leona's laptop. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Hello, everybody. You are all very welcome back to Templeboy Turnings, as it is, as it are, as it was. So Leona's going to let me know who's in because I've only got the StreamYard chat up, and that's very delayed. So, and also if everybody could just let me know that picture is okay and sound is okay, because I'm using StreamYard, but I'm using a different software. So I just want to make sure that everything is running okay. Cool. Oh, okay. Hit me with who's here. Hi, Eva. Hi, Steve Ellis. Fred, John, Richard, Mike, Lenny, Ruben, Wayne and Val, David, Nick Stace, who's been here for like 3 hours, Jeff, Keith, Steve, rubber dubba 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 doo, Steve and Carol, Debbie, we said John, but we'll say John again just in case there's another John, and we'll say Tommy, Mark, Steve, and Steve. And hello, Leona and Chris. Goodness, there's 1 or 2 in to watch, so very good. Excellent. It's good to be back. Richard and Colin. And Enrica, is it? Oh, Fenrica Steve. Oh, right. Okay, sorry. That was a bit. Okie dokie. So, right. So this, and Colin and Richard and everybody else who has joined that I probably won't say hello to because the hellos have got to stop at some point in the live. And then we've got to actually kind of do something. So, yeah. Right. So let me, so this thingy here tonight, here, what's this we're doing? Live. That's right. Let me have a sup of my tea. It's all about fire. But, one second. Slurp. It's all about fire, but also embellishment, burn rings, texturing with fire, and doing anything that you want to know basically about how you can use fire. I don't know all the techniques. I've been practicing a few new techniques myself today that I want to share with you. What you need to do it and what you would use it for. If there is a burning technique or embellishing, you know, like wire burning or friction burning or using the gas torch, any kind of embellishment to do with burning the wood or turning the wood black through friction, that's what I'm going to kind of play around with this evening. If there's any questions that you want to ask, just ask Leona. I'll stop and I will actually, this is an interactive live, so you can stop me at any time throughout the live and say, Steve, have you ever done blah, blah? If not, can you try it now and see what happens? I've been meaning to try such and such. I've got pretty much most of the tools that you need to do anything here. So we can give anything a try that you guys want to try. That's what I want to do, and that's what I want to do moving forward with any lives that I do. I want it to be interactive, and I want people to stop me and say, Steve, why don't you try such and such, because I've not seen that done, or I saw such and such do it. I want to see your take on it, because I always have my own take on stuff. Where have I been and what have I been up to? I've been away. Not away. I've just went away from live feeds. It was all just getting blah, and I just left for a while. I'm not going to go into all that. I'm back now. I'm gonna look. I know Andy here. I messaged Andy this evening just to see was there anybody else filling this slot, and there isn't. So it looks like I might be moving forward doing every Monday evening from now on, maybe, depending on how we go. I've got a lot of bits and pieces going on in the background, new adventures and stuff. So I'll be sharing that with you as I go forward. Yeah, so it's just going to be a bit of fun on the live, ask questions, and have your normal banter in the old chat attack. Okay, and the lovely Leona will yell everything in my ear as long as I can hear her. Okay, so let me just try this, and this is the first thing we're going to do to see does it actually work with the software. Look what happened. It actually worked. Yay, forking banana art. Right, so I've got a new gizmo that I was building yesterday and today. It's a new, I can do this. You're going to get sick for a little while, folks, but I can move my camera wherever you want to see it, basically. So anywhere you want me to move it, just say, Steve, can we see such and such angle? And we'll go with that. Absolutely, no problem. I'll do that a bit later on. So this is just a rough old piece of, I think, not 100% sure, I think this is a piece of ash. It's just an ash log that I have on the lathe, but it has lots and lots of grain. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but it's got all kinds of different grain patterns through it. It's got a bit of an inclusion. So what we'll start off doing is doing different depths of burning with the blowtorch. I've got my little blowtorches, these things here. Now, unfortunately, I haven't got my map gas torch. I was hoping I was going to be able to use the old plumber's map gas torch that I had, but I'm not going to be able to use it because the gas has run out. Well, there's gas in the bottle, but I think it's gone bad. Map gas does go bad. I think it might have gone bad. I haven't used it for a couple of years, so that's probably what's happened. So I've got this little work zone pencil torch, as I call it. They're really nice for doing details and stuff. And then I've got my other small one over here. Which we could have a bit of fun with later on. I have my fire extinguisher over in the corner, and I have a bucket of water down by the side of me, just in case things go a little bit pear-shaped. And if anything does go seriously wrong, what I should do is, I've actually got a gallon of petrol down there. I will probably just throw the petrol at it and run out the door, to be honest with you, because all right. Oh, yeah, that. I'm not in a new workshop. I'm in my, how would I explain? I have fixed the issues I had with, I fixed the issue that I had with this workshop. And so therefore I'm allowed to, I've got my big lathe here. It's my big SIP lathe. And I had to do a lot of work on it, bring it back to life, because when the roof leaked on this shed, it completely soaked this lathe. So I had to rebuild the motor, clean all the bearings, clean everything down. So touch wood, it's all working fine. I've got my tools all, most of them cleaned up. You'll see one or two rusty tools every now and then. I apologize for that, but I'm slowly getting through them. Yes, I can do that, Keith. Absolutely. There you go. And I can make it a little bit smaller maybe as well. How's that? Is that a bit better? Who said that? Sorry, Leona. Colin. Okay. Colin. Oh, Colin. Thank you, Colin. I actually was playing with a little bit more resin. I'll just show you this before we start burning stuff. I cut, oh, wrong one. I cut a resin blank, one of GPS's resin blanks into 4, and then I glued it all together so it made a block. And then I just wanted to see how, basically it was to see how well it stuck together with joints and stuff like that. Now, I didn't sand the sides of the pen blank at all. All I did was cut it in 4 and then stuck it all together just to see how it would. And then I turned this little, it's just like a little ornament, just messing around. I'll put a finial on the top. The cut on my hand, this one. Yeah, well, it was funny because that one there, I just super glued and then hit with activator to stop it bleeding. Yeah, I caught it on the edge of my tool rest and just cut it just there. Thank you very much, Eva, for your donation. That is really kind of you. Thank you. So yes, it's just like a little ornament that's turned out of a little bit of GPS. You can't really see it on the camera there, but you can't see the joints. So it just goes to show you they're pretty good at cutting the old blanks. Right, okay. No. No. There you go. Hi, Huey, and hi, Wayne. Very welcome. Okay, let's get this road on the show. We're going to start off with just one of the little propane torches. Propane torches. Well, they're not. Well, they are. These are little gas torches. I got this from Aldi, which is like a no frills store here over in Ireland, and it's supposed to be like a little soldering iron. There's attachments that you put into it and you can use it for a gas soldering iron. It works off of this lighter gas. This is just the Swan universal gas, and you just stick it in the end and recharge it, and it's quite a nice little hot flame for detailing. Now I'm going to show you a few tricks and things, but to start with, I've left this log it's literally sanded to about 1 grit. So you can see there's all the radial lines and all that in it, but it is showing the grain. And what I'm just going to do is I'm going to light the torch and I'm just going to run it over some of this grain, probably just here, just to see. And it's just going to be a light pass over the top. And hopefully, if the picture's clear, you'll see the colors, the different grains coming through. Now, obviously, the way a grain works is you've got soft wood and slightly harder wood in the grain. And what happens is the soft wood burns away and leaves the protruding hardwood. Now, we're not going to go that far yet. All we're going to do is just put a little bit of color into it. Okay. Now, Steve and Andy. Hi, how are you guys? Whee! Fire! Now, sometimes these torches do this flare up because I've had them laying down. A handy tip that a guy that does a lot of gas soldering told me is always store these torches standing up. So I've got to make a holder where these torches are just standing up, because that way the liquid goes to the bottom and the gas comes to the top, and you don't end up with bubbles of gas that shoot to the top and cause it a flare. So that's a handy tip. See, it'll do that until it calms down. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to literally just start. Do you know what I'm going to do is I will bring the camera up here so that you can actually see this changing. See, I started changing color already. Calm down, blowtorch. Thank you. So there you go. It's just literally all I'm going to do is just I'm following the lines of the grain with the torch. Now what we'll do later on is, if we have time, I'm on no time schedule, to be honest with you. You know me and my lives. I'll stay on for as long as people want to stay around. I'm on summer break from work at the moment, so I'm under no obligations to be anywhere in the mornings. And literally all I'm doing is I'm not keeping it in the one spot too long. And as soon as the softer grain starts showing up, I'm moving on. And I'm literally, that's why I call this a pencil torch. You can literally draw with these. They're really nice torches. And there you go. That's just literally just going very lightly. And you can see that's really brought the grain out on that. Now that's not burnt deep. It's just literally, I could sand that off near enough and it'll be back to bare wood again. But what you could do then is you could leave it like that. Obviously you'd have your workpiece sanded really as smooth as you can. You'd just run the torch over it, and then you'd go with the last grit that you used, you'd sand it back again. If you want it a little bit darker, you can just keep adding and adding. And then if you were to finish that, it would come up. What I'd do is I will just put a little smear of sanding sealer in one little spot, so you can see how just even that just pops. Pop, pop. Now it's not going to be a great finish. Like I said, it wasn't sanded. It's just from the tool. But you can see just there. Sorry. Oh, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You want to see my beautiful face. How's that? I'm getting used to the new rig, so just bear with me. Hi, Sarah. Thanks for joining. So there you go. You see that just pops that. You can see the difference. So that's just with sanding sealer. It just brings the grain back up. That's probably going to catch fire again in a second when I use the torch, but there you go. I will sand it back just to be safe. Hi, Doug. Which Doug? Pole barn? Now that is 80 grit that I just went over, and you can still see even just the lightest scorch still stays there. So, you know, it does burn quite deep. This ash has got quite a nice grain on it. I like doing scorch work with ash. Right, next what we're going to do is we're going to stay in the same area, and I'm going to burn it deeper. I'm going to do quite a lot of intensive burning. It might take a couple of minutes, and then we're going to get the wire brush out and we're going to scrub it, and we'll see what does it show any kind of texture. Jen, hi Jen. So I've got two torches on this just to speed things up. Double torching. Woo-oo. And I'm really burning it now. What you'll see is the wood will actually start shining in places. Double torch burning, baby. I could get my big Bertha of a blowtorch on this, but I would be afraid with the heat from it and the cameras and all that kind of stuff that it throws out some savage heat. I actually changed the nozzle on it. I changed the nozzle on it because I had a double nozzle for doing roofs, the bitumen roofs. So that's a little bit too big. So yes, Leon. who you who are you going to call? Ghostbusters! I'm crossing the beams, Wayne. I'm crossing the beams. Now, at the moment, this just looks like a burnt piece of wood. But I'm hoping... I'll tell you, a handy tip for this is as well, if you're using two blowtorches like this, is remember that you've got a blowtorch in the other hand and don't cross your hand, because that really hurts. Leona just said, oh darn. So as you can see, I don't know if that's picking up on the camera. You see how it's going shiny? The grain is getting a shiny look to it. That's where it's actually turning. The best way to describe it is it's turning to charcoal. And that's the stage that you want it to get to before you give it a wire brushing. And the reason why you would do this wire brushing technique is, number one, if you want a bit of texture, you don't just want a smooth finish on your piece. But also, like I said, you can get the wire brush, take it out, and then you can add some embellishing creams and waxes. And what we'll do is we'll put a little bit of copper color into this in a sec, just to show you what it does. If we've got time later on, I might just, if there's any of this wood left by the time we're finished, I might just turn a quick goblet or something. We'll see. There is a few cracks in this wood, that's why I chose it. Oh no, Woody. That sucks. Well, unless you want to be made redundant. Some people want to be, but that sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm afraid there's a lot of that going on now, especially if people are working for small companies that were struggling before COVID. It just sucks. I think the owner's talking to herself. I'm going to ignore her. Does anyone smell burning? Jeez, I've got to smell burning there for a second. Right, I'll bring the camera right in a second, and we'll try and pick up that. It's almost, I'll tell you what it reminds me of. I always get the image of I know it's a weird thing to say, but I always get the image of a silverback ape when this stuff gets like a charcoaly look. It's a really cool look. Sorry, who's what? What? Wear a kilt and what? Right, okay. So I totally heard that wrong. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this here camera right down here, and I'm going to show you, get this, as the owner's now spat whatever beverage she was drinking across her. So is the camera picking up the shiny rings? Oh, okay, it's too close now, is it? Super. Why didn't you tell me? So there you go. That's that. So what I'm going to do now is I've got this here monster of a steel wool, and it is steel. It's not brass. Now you can use a slightly softer steel brush if you didn't want to take as much out. I want to do the exaggerated thing that so you can really see it. So literally all you do now is you brush out. You go with the grain as well, or I do, because that way you're not kind of getting dirty big radial scratches across your grain. Now I'm sure a lot of people that turn wood have seen this technique done. I know Wayne the wood turner has done it himself. Martin Saban Smith does it quite often, but I just wanted to, and like I say, if there's anything that people would like to see done while we have all the fire apparatus out, then please just tell Leona or say it in the chat, and Leona will mention it to me, and we'll see what we can do. So I can feel the texture in that now. It's already took some of the grain out. I'm not sure if is that showing the texture there. Can you feel that? I know it's really annoying, but I'm gonna bring this camera right in close and see can we pick up the grain. It's so my pointy finger it's sanded to 240, then it's got some sanding sealer on it, and I finished it off, and then I finished it off with some chestnut black spirit stain. I think it came out well. But is that grain showing up there now? So you can see the texture there, and literally it didn't take long, but it gives it a really nice effect. Now, obviously that's very black. So what you could do is you could sand that back and take the top surface black off and still leave the textured grain, or you could burn it some more until it goes charcoaly looking again, and then hit it with a wire brush, and you could just keep going deeper. And what happens is the more you burn it, the more the harder grain starts burning as well, and you get, I'll show you a bowl that I did. It was just a practice piece, and it's very, 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 very dusty. Excuse me while I give it a little bit of a. Now this has had some embellishing wax and stuff like that put in it, but you can see that I really pull that back a bit. I really textured that. I went really, really deep with that and just kept going and going and going. And what happens is it gets this almost as if the wood's been melted look to it. And that has just literally been burnt and burnt and burnt and burnt and burnt, sanded back. Do you know, it's like having the mother-in-law in me here. bet you wouldn't. So yeah, can you see that's really, really burnt, and that's the kind of, it gives you, wow, she's really having a go at me. Gosh, she's in form tonight. So yeah, I think she's missed giving out to me in my ear. So that's if I was to continue with that would get to that stage where it's really, really kind of plasticky looking and like melted plastic. Right, what I'll do is I'll just rub over the top of this quickly with a bit of 2 grit and take a little bit of the black off. Oh, me tea's gone cold. Might have to stick it in the microwave. Right, where's me one grit? That's not. It's 80 that I've got here. I'm just going to run this very fast. Good idea, Adrian. No, it doesn't keep the burnt smell, Debbie. Once you've put lacquers or any finishing and that. Now, if you leave it natural, it might have a slight smell off of it, but that will go after time. Am I? Okay. All right. No, Leona doesn't do camera or mic unless she's had at least 2 or 3 drinks or bottles of vodka. So no, that's the deal we have. Don't put me on camera and I'll be your worm. Right, so I'm going to get some silver gilt here. I think it's, yes. I'm going to get some silver gilt and I'm just going to rub some onto this just to show you what you can do. Now, like I say, I've not sanded this or anything. It's just literally to give it the effect. I'm just going to rub it onto this, like this. And the Stace says, "Am I free tomorrow?" I'm never free, Stace. I'm quite expensive. It is good fun, Eva. Voice of an angel. So there you go. That's just rubbing a bit of silver gilt into that. Now, I'll try and get it in there as much as I can. But you can see that it really takes the gilt really well. If I turn it to this bit, we'll say where there's a bit of grain here, and just try and rub a bit of the gilt on. The gilt will go on, but it will just look like a big shiny mess. That's kind of cool looking, I think. It's probably too shiny now with the camera. And then you just sand it back a bit. You can add color. I mean, a lot of people, what they'll do is I think what Wayne does, correct me if I'm wrong, if Wayne's still there, I think what Wayne does is he burns it, then he puts a black base coat over it, and then puts his embellishing waxes on. I think, it might be someone else I'm thinking of, but yes. So Leona's just said when the garnish is all over the wood like this, can you just wipe it off with wood wax 22? Did you say? You can. I tend to just if this was a finished piece and you've done all your sanding, then you've done your burning, then you've knocked it back again, and then you've added your gilt. I normally just use my last grit paper that I was using. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Let's try it, shall we? Because I've never done that. Okay, so a bit of wood wax 22, is it? Okay. Thank you, Jen, and thank you, Doug, for the super chats. That's really kind of you. Thank you. So, I got wood wax 22 here. You literally just go over the top of it with wood wax 22. Is that what you're saying? Okay, so Leona's saying, where did you say you saw that somewhere? Sarah the Titchy Turner. Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, so Sarah the Titchy Turner, Tiny Turner, sorry, there's two Sarahs that are both small. I get mixed up between both. She apparently, was it on a live that she said this tip? On her live, she said that wood wax 22, if you rub it on, it puts the embellishing wax into the areas you want it and takes it away from the areas you don't want it. And I can say that it's only bloody working. So that's why I want people to interact and say these things, because I am far from a professional at any kind of colouring or embellishing. I'm only kind of showing you what I've learned. And wow, that's so cool. Thank you, Steve. Look, it is. It's actually moved. It's moved the wax into where I wanted it, and it's taken it out. Now, that's pretty unbelievable. And White Spirit does the same thing. Right, let's run that on the lathe just for the crack. I mean, I'm going to be cutting all that back again in a sec, but this is just a demonstration. Thanks, Sarah, the Tiny Turner. You're awesome. With the liming wax. Excellent. Oh, I've got a dance. Oh, right, okay, 1 second. We're back to that crack again. Let me get more of me. Okay. Dance monkey, dance monkey, dance monkey. There you go, that's £2 worth. Thank you very much. There we go. Hi, Ingrid. Thank you very much. That's really kind of you to say. Ingrid, we're just messing about with well, we're just messing about, if we're honest, but we're just messing about with fire and embellishing. I've just scorched this with a blowtorch, wire brushed the grain out of it, and then I've embellished it with just some silver chestnut stain, and then we've cleaned it off. A new technique that Leona said Sarah the Tiny Turner mentioned, and we've just wiped off the embellishing wax, and now we've just got our grain filled with it. So see that? That's pretty cool looking, and it was quite a simple process. You can imagine doing the cup of your goblet or the stem of your goblet, or even a bowl, an end grain bowl or something like that. It'd just be something new. We'll knock that back again now, and I want to show you some techniques I've been playing with over the last couple of days. I could get the old roughing gouge and clean that back again. Yeah, a live dance off. Man glitter. Ooh. There you go. That just completely took that off, didn't it? Right. Has there been any techniques and things that people want to see that I can maybe add into this? Let me just run the sandpaper over this quickly. Oh, it's a lovely finish. Look at that, it's beautiful. Right. Okay, next technique is something I've been playing with. You probably wouldn't use it so much on, well, you probably could do it on spindles. But the only thing I was thinking was I didn't have time to turn well, do you know what? I've got this over here. I could maybe do it on this. Yeah, I might do that actually. Let's take this off, because I think it might just, what I'm about to show you might show better on a bowl than it would on a spindle. But I'd say you could use it on spindle too. We'll leave that over there for now. Who said that? Debbie, thank you very much. To be honest with you, I'm more times than not happy jolly Steve. But I have issues. Not afraid to say it. And those issues sometimes get the better of me. And I have to get myself back in check. As do a lot of people in life. Where's me? Oh, there it is. Right, I'm going to put this, just a wee bowl. I hope the jaws are the right size for the, yeah, they are. It's a bowl that I think I might have done this on a live a long time ago. Who? Okay, yeah. I have no Joe Sonia paints. That's one thing I'm only just getting. I literally just did my first coloured piece, proper bit of colouring yesterday, which was the hollow form that I put up on Instagram. I coloured a piece of beach, and I did like I've been playing a lot with finials recently, and excuse me, someone's been burning stuff around here. Wayne Gilbert was kind enough to send me a few pieces of oak, like long pen blanks, a bit longer than pen blanks, and I've been practicing with the skew, trying to master my skew, but also doing finials. And the finial that I don't know how many of you saw the piece that I did, the hollow form, the wooden hollow form, not the resin ones. I put it up yesterday. I wanted to try. I've been trying to practice with really slim, sleek finials, real dainty, cute ones. I've got a broken one here somewhere. I might have thrown it away, to be honest with you. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. That was Woody, was it? Said that? Yes, Woody. Yeah, Woody, I'll put the spindle back on in a little while. That is the next thing that I'm gonna do is how to burn rings and different things that you can use to do that. So that'll be kind of a bit later on. Does that light help? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to burn something in the center of this. It is a nice piece of wood. Leona said, please don't burn that. I am going to. This bowl warped. It's got a bit of a wibbly wobbly on it. So, hey, I'm here to demonstrate. So, hands up, Stace and Leona. Who likes Chinese? Hands up, who likes Chinese? Food, that is. So, you, it comes in the little silver trays, you know, the food things. Well, you can get those silver trays and they have a lid on them, and the lids look like this. Let me just change to the other. Lids look like this. They have a foil back on them, a heat proof back, and then they're just cardstock on the other side. You can get these. I got these from Mr. Price, which is a no frills shop. You can get them the silver trays and the lids for about €1 for 20 of them or something like that. But these, I found out, are great for the next technique that that I'm going to demonstrate. Now, excuse me. Sorry, I just coughed in Leona's ear. Right. What I want to do is move this round here like this. Do 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 do. And then I want to put this on here like this. Don't worry about the camera being in my way, because I'm going to move it to this one. No, I'm not. I'll move it to this one. I don't like it when Leona says, oh dear. That means that someone said something rude. Oh dear. Okay, so I'm going to just draw. I'm going to Google an image and then we'll draw. Is there any particular silhouette picture that anyone would like? Let me see what silhouettes I can. That's going to make that bowl look nice, Leona. Not a big dirty Mickey Mouse in the middle of it. Jesus. Oh, Lord. A bee. A silhouette of a bee. Now, bearing in mind I've got a freehand draw this now. Thanks, Leona. Okay, let's right. a chicken ball. Now Leona's actually choking on her vodka now. Whoever said draw a chicken ball. Now this is going to be a very quick drawing of a silhouette of a bee. Oh God, calm down. Would you like a minute? You go off and have a wee in a minute for yourself and compose. Okay, Leona's taking a moment, folks. She's got a little bit chuckle pants. So this is just a quick drawing of a bee in flight kind of thing. Now, I'm not sure how much of this detail will come out on this, but I no doubt we'll find out. It's more of a wasp, I think, this image, but hey, we'll go with it. Now I am adapting this slightly so that it works with technique that I'm going to show you, because if I cut out, it's kind of like scroll sawing, I don't want floaters in the picture. Now you're probably wondering, you're probably saying, well, why aren't you just drawing it straight onto the bowl, Steve? Well, because I like the look of how this looks when it's burnt, because the grain shows through when you, and we're only scorching it, we're not going to be right. Let me cut that silhouette out and see. Do you know what, we're not going to have the stripes. I'm just going to have to cut that whole thing out, but it will show you what I mean. Now what we do is we just cut that silhouette out now. I'm not looking at the chat at the moment, folks, as well. I'm sorry. Save any questions for Leona, and she'll let me know. So I've had a few people asking me how the van's going. They've messaged me and stuff like that, the creator van. Obviously with the current situation with COVID, the van has been grounded because it's such close quarters inside the van. I can't have kids obviously in there until I've been given the all clear. Now there are precautions I can take, but there's such strict precautions, and rightly so, they should be. There's such strict precautions that I've got to kind of rethink my strategy and get the van back out there. Hello, Leona's back. So there we go. It's more of a fly silhouette, but there you go. It's kind of bee looking, I think. And that's what it looks like on the silver side. Okay, right. So what we're going to do is we'll line up the grain so it's kind of like that. Now my card is a little bit too big, so I'm going to cut it into a circle. Has anybody seen this kind of thing being done with templates and fire? Now I've seen auto body guys doing stuff similar to it. You know, the vinyl roofs. Vinyl, when you run heat over it, it kind of gets this shiny look. And I've seen them doing templates where they'll put a template over it. They'll heat up the vinyl just around the template and it just gets the shape in it. Oh God, she's off again. Okay. Okay, Leona, I can't hear what you're saying. Amidst the laughing and the spitting into the mic. Okay, so could you repeat, please? Oh God, you've done it now, folks. She's off. Eva, the actual answer for a floater is um, so in the picture, I've still got it here. In the picture of the bee, I'll can I make it bigger? Yes, there we go. So do you see that picture of the bee? If I was, oh look at me, I've got the shakes. See the stripes? If I was to cut those stripes out, you'd end up with the pieces floating in the center. So I've just cut the whole section out because it's very hard to get stripes when you're doing silhouette. So that's what a floater is. And in scroll sawing, when you cut out, we'll say the eye of something, the eye would be, the eyeball would be the floater amongst the eye. It's nothing to do with children being oh God, she is. So I've just took some sticky tape there and I've just stuck that template in the center of my bowl. Now this will also work with an airbrush. If you wanted to get some black paint, oh hold on, you can't see. That's your fault, Leona. There's me working away there, and there we go. Can you see that? So I've just stuck that template in. I've cut the silhouette out. Now this will work with an airbrush, but with an airbrush, what you have to do is you need to get the template stuck right down against the bowl. You don't have to necessarily worry too much about that with when you're using the blowtorch. Now, what I have to assist this is I have some heat-proof gloves, just so that I can hold the piece down. Actually, I'll put the left one on. I'll be doing a light. Sorry, carry on. After I burn it, can I dye the stripes in? It'd be what I could do is I could burn the silhouette, then come back with the rotary grinder and literally just grind the stripes in if I wanted to, and give it a bit of texture that way. I might do that. We'll just see. This might not work because I've only done it a couple of times. Right. So again, we're using a little pencil blowtorch that I've had laying down again, so it might take off. I'm going to turn the heat down just slightly on it, so you're not rearing away. And then because I've got my heat glove on, I can push the template down a bit, and you literally just start scorching. And what happens is the template will start to burn away a little bit, but don't worry about that. I've just blown my torch out. Can do that. Good idea. Or a pencil. Or a pencil. What did you just say? Leona Faye. That wasn't very nice. My Michael Jackson glove looks wicked cool. Now this has probably got a little bit too much detail in it. Might not show up. If it doesn't, I will use the template that I used for practice earlier. Scorch pens, as in, yeah, that didn't come out too well because there's too much detail. So I will sand that back and we'll use the bigger template that I have here with less detail. Yeah, true. Well, I've got something else here that I will show you in a bit. I'm just going to sand that back because let's you know, we won't beat around the bush. It looks pants. So let me tin foil is actually not heat proof to flame. It catches fire. I'm not going to sand this back too much because the other one that I have will actually probably fill that and cover over it. Right. Let me get this template here. I'm just going to quickly draw around a new one. Literally simple. I think the bigger the template when you're doing this, the better. Right, I'm just going to cut this out quick, folks. I won't bother showing you. Any questions from folk? I didn't hear what you said from the squeaky laugh. You could do pyrography, yes, but what the pyrography does is, you'll see what I mean when I do the bigger template. That small B one was a bit of a rubbish idea, whoever came up with that, to be honest with you. You'll see what I mean. With a pyrography pen, number one, it takes a while, but it looks drawn, whereas this, I'm just going to have to show you, folks. Sorry. Okay. That will cover up what I started. I think I'll turn it that way. It definitely will. Just for demonstration purposes. And I'm going to even be risky and not wear a glove because Leona doesn't like it. Do you know what? Why don't I just have the thing down the when I was practicing, I actually didn't do it like this, and I'm thinking, what the why am I just doing it? Frig's sake. Right. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, it's my first live, folks. I'm not used to this. That's all. It's I suppose actually pointing it towards the bowl would help. Right, there we go. The owner's in a silly mood. Right. It's a lot better doing it flat like this, you know, folks, because flame's actually going straight down. Jesus. Wow, look at that. It's actually easier. The bee probably worked it. Sorry. Oh God. Steve, stop causing trouble. You'll see what I mean by this now. It brings the natural grain. Ow, that's hot. Oh, right. Leona is actually right. Sorry. Can you say it again? Because now that you've calmed down, can you? You don't know what you are doing to Leona here, folks. Yes. Yes. I still can't hear you. I got YouTube, memory, and slash. When is my next video out? Well, my next video is going to be how to control an earworm. And right, so she's got a beard, yes, but it's a silhouette of a fit. Now I've got a bit of the bee left there that I left, but it's a technique that I'm showing, not a finished piece, Leona. Okay, so is it who? Is it Italy? Oh, you are some, I tell you. Right, so you can do that. You could also, I'm just showing you, I mean, flat work is probably best for this and not bowls. This is, I don't know if you've ever seen it. This is heat proof rope. And if you've had any dealings with a range or a boiler or anything like this is used to seal boilers and around flues and stuff like that. And it's a heat proof rope. It's not completely and utterly resistant to high temperatures. What happens is if you put it into a high temperature, it actually melts into like a glass because it's got glass fibers in it. But you can use it for kind of doing squiggly line. Do you know what? I'll do it on a flat piece of wood because it would be easier. Bring this piece of plywood over here, and I'll demonstrate on this. So you can shape the string any way you want. I'll do S for Steve. That's what we'll do. I'm just going to trim the ends off here because they're really annoying. So I'll do an S for Steve. Push it down a little bit onto wood. I'm just going to charge up my gas. And try not to charge those up while they're still light, because I found out that it sets fire to your hand. Right, so what we're going to do is you just use the string as as a border. And because it's fireproof to a certain point, the fire won't go round the base of the string. Yeah, I'd say so. The one thing, Mike, yeah, I'd say, but it probably would work, the heat-proof silicone, definitely. But I often wondered, hot glue as well, would it stay on there quick enough to do this, and then you just peel it off, like, you know? And then that's a really good border for doing outlining. And you could kind of you could use these cards as well for doing. It's pretty much like artists would do with the, what's it called, airbrush. Good lord, that's an old man brain there. With the airbrush, they'd use cards, or they'd use just pieces of wood or whatever, and they just use it to mask, to go around corners, and then you'd cover the bit you've just done, do your next one, and you can kind of get this wave effect. Now I think something like that would look cool on a bowl, to be honest with you. On the rim of a bowl, you could maybe cut a template, and you can just, yeah, you could cut a template from a soda can, anything that's going to shield the heat. Absolutely. So you can just use that for edges and stuff like that. The other thing as well that I was playing with, now it was only a play, but all these little stringy bits that you cut off of that rope. Let me turn the fire off so I don't. The other thing as well is I just sprinkled a few of these bits of rope on the board. And you know, when people kind of just doing random patterns on bowls and stuff like that, I just thought it'd be something different. You know me, I'm always looking at different. And was it Ruben was saying, why wouldn't you just, no, somebody said, why wouldn't you just pyro it? You can see there, I know this is only plywood, but the grains come up on that. If you were to use a pyro, you'd lose the grain because it's such a hot tip. When you're stippling it or you're running the pyro over it, you just lose the grain. At least with this, you still keep the grain underneath, and you can silhouette it out. I've got the other half. You can do it with the piece that you cut out as well. I'll just show you this, what I mean with these little pieces. You can imagine kind of sprinkling these on the rim of a bowl, around the rim of a bowl, and going for a random pattern, and literally just burn these. Just go straight down on them. And again, the black is going to come up with the pattern of the bowl, the grain of the bowl. Turn that up. Sorry. Not all of it, no. But yeah, pretty much. So there we go. Night, Ruben. Thank you for joining. How does burning affect a textured piece? Was that Robert, was it? Yeah, so what you've got to think is that if you've textured something, you've got high points, low points. When you're running a blowtorch over any kind of area, it's going to take the high points first, and it will burn those high points down. So you could lose texture if it's only a fine texture. You need a really hard texture if you're going to scorch a texture. What I have done before is I've scorched a piece of wood first, and then I've gone over with a texture tool, and it brings the white of the wood back out through the scorching. So now if you wipe that away, it gives it that mottled look, but still has the grain of the wood. And I just thought it would kind of give it that camo look, camouflage type look on the top of a bowl or embellishment. I just think that's kind of cool looking, that kind of mottled look. And you can keep these pieces, they go a little bit crispy, but you can keep these pieces and just keep reusing them. But that's quite a cool effect. And like I say, if you wanted to do that with pyro, not only would it take you forever to do that, but it would also it won't, you'd lose the grain. Go away, fly. So that's that. Was there another? Oh yes, just one last thing. I'm not going to dwell on this section too much, but you can get this stuff, and it's called paper. But it's not paper. It's actually heat-proof paper. You can get it in different thicknesses. I've got a slightly thicker piece here. It's only a small piece, but it's fiber paper. That's a slightly thicker piece. So you could actually cut templates out or whatever of that, and that is heat proof up to about 2000 degrees. And the reason why I've got that is because I've just recently purchased a glass kiln that you melt glass in. I've got a piece here that I was messing about with. Where is it? A couple of pieces. Now they're not great because I've been trying to shape them a mess, but you can melt glass. These were marbles, not yours, but mine. So you can melt these marbles, and I'm experimenting with them to melt glass to put them into goblets, the base of goblets and things like that. But that's what you use. You use that heat-proof paper, and you can cut silhouettes out of that. Right. Night Debbie, thank you very much for joining. Right, what we will do is we'll do the burn lines and stuff like that. Oh no. La 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 la. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'll put my spindle back in, and we'll have a play with burn rings. Because I think Ruben's gone, has he? Was it him that was talking about? Oh, he can watch back anyway. I've actually got a turner handle for this. Are you all excited about your new workshop, Leona? Oh, it's the mini bar, not the workshop. Oh, I gotcha. Yay, mini bar. Right, let's cut a couple of grooves in this, and then I shall demonstrate. I'll bring this back over here like this. I'm going to turn the light off because that's whitewashing it. Poor doggy. Right, there we go. Sorry about the old camera moving. I know it makes people a bit sick. Right, I'm going to use a skew and just put a couple of lines into this. Quick. And I'll put a little bit of a beady bead in there as well, just to, not a bead, but yeah, we will. I'll turn a quick bead, because then I can demonstrate how to scorch the edge of the bead or something like that. Oh God, she's off again. Sorry. Say that again. Good night, Steve. Thank you very much. I thought you were telling me why you were laughing. Oh, good Lord. Now, I'm just going to round off this edge as well, as if it was the edge of, we'll say, the rim of a goblet. Okay. Are you having a little conversation to yourself there, Leona, or would you like to share? Right, there we go. Just put a couple of edges and rounds and stuff like that in very quick. I'm going to bring the camera around this side so that you can see what I'm doing. This is cool. I can put the camera wherever I want it. Right. So first thing first, with is a wire burn. Okay, and all this is a guitar string, an old steel guitar string that I've put 2 dowels on. Always put dowels on the end, or some kind of ball or something on the end. Do not wrap the cable around your hand like this and then do this, because if this snags and pulls it, it will deglove your hand. It will take the skin clean off your hands, which is not nice, believe me. What I do is, when I'm using the string pull, sorry, not the string pull, the wire, is I bring my tool rest up quite high, bring it close to the piece. And when the piece is spinning, I'll just show you while it's not spinning. When the piece is spinning, I put the wire against the front. I don't know if that's showing, is it? Yeah. I put the wire against the front of the tool rest like this. And then I bring it down and over the piece. That way, if it snags, it's going to pull it against the, it's going to pull it down this way and away, and it's going to, not going to deglove your hand. I'm using the pressure of the tool rest to put the force into the string. All right, so I'm going to put speed in. High speed, quite a high speed, against my tool rest, into the slot. Don't pull it tight yet. Wait until it starts biting and you start getting a little bit of smoke. You can just see it starting to smoke there. Keep the pressure on it and keep it there until it's as dark as you want it, and then pull it back. Simple as that. So you're pulling against the tool rest and kind of scooting across the top of the piece rather than pulling it down and wrapping it around the piece. And that's how you do a wire burn. I've got a thicker wire here now, which is just a normal steel wire, just that I've pulled off of, but I've stripped back some plastic off of a steel wire. That does the same thing, it's just a bit of a wider burn. So again, against my tool rest, sometimes this one burns a lot quicker. And that'll be a thicker burn. There you go. Just like that. Then have these, and all these are their Formica cards. Formica is like a laminated, some of them are wood, laminated wood, some of them are laminated plastics. This one is veneered woods, I believe. And literally, again, I put it against the tool rest, into the slot, hold it there, and then burn, just like that. Now it takes a big chunk out the card because of friction, but what the hey. So again, put it against the tool rest and then drop it down into the hole or into the groove that you put, and away you go. Now the other thing you can do with these cards as well is if you've got, now it's not sanded, but I've got a bit of a bead there. If I bring it round a little bit so you can see. Come round. I could zoom in on that. Anyway, is you can kind of start at the top of your bead. Again, I'm going using the tool rest. Did that screech in your ear? The owner didn't like that. I'll bring my tool rest in a bit. You want as much support as you can with this. Sorry about the screeching, folks. And literally all you're going to do is just add in shade to one side of the room. You can do both sides, but couldn't say it in the owner's ear, I won't. I don't know, that's probably not showing. Is it showing on the camera? Yeah. It doesn't. I'm just doing that to annoy the owner now. Trying to get it a bit darker. I'll show you with a piece of wood in a second. Works better. But it's not a real dark burn, but you can shade the edges of your beads and it gives them definition. And then what you do is then you come back in with your wire in the groove next to the beads. This is on goblets and things like that, and you'd make it darker, and so it will look like a dark ring fading into like a light brown. Wedges of wood. Got a wedge of hardwood there, literally just on the bandsaw and cut a wedge. Don't know what sort of wood this is, but you can use that as well. Literally just into your groove, and that'll be a nice thick burn, and it cuts a nice groove in there. Again, that's a great way of burning, very quick, and gives a nice definition to the side of the. And again, you can use the hardwood then to go round the edge and give the rim of a goblet a bit of a brown look, just like that. Or Stacey will like this one. Let me cut another groove. A lollipop stick. This is one of the bigger ones. You can use a normal size lollipop stick. Put that in there, into the groove. That burns a nice burn as well, be nice and wide. What you can do is, if you want a really wide burn, you can glue 2 lolly sticks together, and you can keep going, keep gluing them together, and do that. Now, if you wanted to kind of friction burn some design into the side, you just use a block of hardwood like this. That's about just over a 1/4 inch thick, I suppose, but I'm only going to be using the edge. You'd come in on your tool rest, get it burning, and you'd use it as kind of a shade. The longer you hold it there. Now this is going to put a bit of a groove in your work as well, so but it is a quick way of putting a little bit of detail into your work. See what that looks like. And then you'd run your sandpaper over. You'll get, this has actually got some oil on it, because it's from, they were like a decking, you buy tiles that have got decking slabs on, and these have got a kind of a bit of an oil on them, so that's what's come off there. But you can see it does shade in, and you can burn it with that. And then the other thing you can use as well, now I said this on a live once, and people didn't believe me. Yes, I used a hardwood block like this, Stace. You can use it any thickness. Thicker the better, because you're putting it down on the tool rest and using the corner or the edge, and you don't want the end just to snap off. So, you know, no less than maybe a 1/4 inch thick. But you can also use paper towel. You need to bunch it up really tight. Now, this will probably prove me wrong now, and I won't be able to do it. But I'm going to try and do this edge here with the paper towel. Sometimes it works. It depends on the wood. This wood seems to burn quite easily, so let's see. High speed again. Bunch the towel up, and you're literally just going to cause the friction of the towel. Needs a lot of a push. Yeah, it is going to work. And there you go. And you can put like a fade in with the paper towel. That's more of a lighter. On the edges, it will burn a lot more than on the front. But you could carry on and see if I could put a little bit more on that. It'll be a shiny burn as well, because it's burnishing it as well. There you go. It's quite a nice definition. Then you'd sand this bit away. You'd have a nice definition burnt in there, and the grain shows up through it, and it's burnished. It smells lovely in this workshop. Do they? Scotch pad. Let me see. I got one here. One of these. Does he mean one of these? I'll give it a go. These, I believe, are kind of plasticky as well, though. So I wonder, would the friction melt them? We'll give it a go. Oh, that gets really hot. Oh, Bernie Fingy. Yeah, not so much. The paper towel seemed to scorch it a lot quicker and didn't get as hot. Oh yeah, yeah, it is burning it, but as I said, these are plasticky and they're melting. Not say it doesn't work. I'm just saying this particular one, it might be a different Scotch pad. I've got a different Scotch pad here. Try that. No, it's made of the same stuff. The only thing that I would say with Scotch pads and stuff like that is they're that little bit more denser than paper towel. If the paper towel gets caught on the piece, it's just going to rip away. Whereas a Scotch pad or something a little bit denser, like a cloth or a rag or something like that, is going to get it, and that could pull your hand in. That's all I'd say. I'd be a bit wary, but that's just personal opinion now. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that's my own personal opinion. Now you can also bring the tool rest out a little bit, get your blowtorch burning. Oh, that might need chart. The Korean, yeah, however you pronounce it. I don't have a piece of that. Oh, is this? Oh yeah, I think I've got leather strips actually that I could try. Eva, 1 second. Oh, de leather, where's me leather? Yeah, there's a leather strip. She said, what? I don't wear a belt either. Right. What I'll do is I've got this strip of leather here, and what I'll do is I'll try on the flat first, and then I'll cut a wide cut into the wood, and we'll try it then. But just to start with, we'll just try and just straight up piece of leather. Really, I should have this put the same as the wire in 2 handles, but just for this, we'll use the tool rest as the main support. Oh, Eva! Wicked cool! Oh, it stinks! Pooey! Oh, it smells like feet! Oh, that's stinky! Oh, that smells... Jesus, do you know what that smells like? That smells like the... Do you know when the lorry comes round, Leona, to pick up the cattle that have been dead in the field for a while, or when you're driving behind it, it smells like bleh. Oh God. Oh wow, that's stinky. Right, let's try and do it in a groove, man. Let's get it in a groove. I'll use a parting tool and put a groove in. Where do I put a groove? Just here. You've got to get into the groove, boy. You gotta prove your love to me. The copyright strike right there, because I've got such a brilliant voice. How wide is that leather? I should do it. Right, let's go for that. Oh, things I do for you people, putting up with this stink. Right, here we go. Right. Oh, that's cool, isn't it? I like that. Good one, Eva. I'll be using that. Oh, what? Like over here? I'll clean this area up here and we'll give that a... Yeah, I'll give that a clean up now and we'll try that. The owner's saying, can you fade with the leather? Yeah, I don't do expensive either. Sorry, I'm cheap. I'm a cheap date. As you could tell with the €2 dance-offs. Right, let's see if we can do some fading with the leather. Hi, Dark. Thanks for joining, man. Right, so we'll start off dark. All right, okay. So it snapped. I was pulling a bit too hard, so I'll start back in the dark area. I've doubled it up now. I'd say I could glue a piece, yeah, to a piece of wood, but the leather seems to burn away quite easy. So maybe a higher quality leather would, but it does fade. It just leaves a bit of a, I don't know if that's the tannin come out of the leather and kind of melted on it or what, but I think it looks better in the grooves. But it stinks. Right, so that's pretty much covered burning and embellishing and stuff like that. Oh, someone asked about texturing, didn't they? What it would look like if you... What I'll do is I'll run my texturing tool over it and then... Okay. Right. Let me just... I've got to bring the speed down on this because they don't like going fast, those texturing tools. So this... Eve, was that Eva said that? Yeah, I'd love that, Eva, if you could. PM me and I'll give you my address. That'd be brilliant. And I can have a play with them. So I'm just going to just put a bit of a... This is only a light texture. This is the crown hollowing, no, not hollowing, texturing tool. The mini texture. If that doesn't bring up too... Oh yeah, that's brought up a little bit of texture there. You can see that texture? Yeah, you can on the camera. Just let me twist that around a little bit, maybe. There you go. So that's just the normal texture. Now, if I get the blowtorch, run this... Oh, what? Run the leather over the top of it? Well, do you know what? I'll do the blowtorch first, then I'll cut it back and I'll do it with the leather and we'll compare. All right, I'll do the blowtorch first, low speed. You're always right. So, and you just put the blowtorch on the tool rest and you just have it on the end of the, and it blows it out. Good night, David. Thank you very much for joining. I think this piece of wood might be a little bit too big for this small torch. Smaller pieces burn better when you're spinning it. I'll just do it by, I'll just go over it. So it does bring out the texture, but as I said, the longer you hold the torch on it, now I'm only just kind of flicking over the top of it, yeah, that's right. The owner said the flame goes inside the texture and kind of scorches the whole lot of it, whereas she thinks the leather will scoot over the top of it. And she'll be right, because she always is. But that's kind of what it looks like when you go over. I'm just doing the edge so it defines the edge of the texture. We're just burning stuff dark. We're not necessarily making something. I might just quickly do a little something in a second. I don't know. I've probably been on a couple of hours already, have I? I've lost track, to be honest with you. Oh yeah. So I'll stay on for a bit more if people want, but I don't mind. Right. So I'll knock that back. But as you can see, it does work, but I'm not a great lover of scorching a textured piece, because it's very bitsy and it takes away the point of the texturing a lot of the time. It burns away a lot of the texturing. So I'll just cut that back again and then prove Leona right, as we always do. What we might do is when I've done this, I'll turn a quick finial maybe. That's what we'll do. Yeah, I'll turn this into a finial. No, I won't turn that into a finial. Jesus Christ. I said I will probably turn a finial. It'd take the fucking week to get down to finial size on this. Right. Okay. So we're gonna texture again. And then go over it with the leather. This is kind of the stuff I do. I mess about in the workshop, just trying different stuff. You're welcome, Robert. There you go. We've got texture there again. Get the leather. And we'll see, is Leona going to be right again? Jesus, that was a big gulp of vodka. She must be nervous. Pardon? Yes. So, because this is only thin, it does break very easy. I'm sure Leona only did this because she knows it stinks. I'm not going all the way over there to the other side of the workshop to get a mask. All right, so it does cut. No, it worked, Leona. Okay, it's kind of cool looking, actually. It's kind of cool looking, I said. I said you were right, okay? And then what you do when you've got a bit of texture like that is you get your doodah and you go like this. And you go like this. Yeah, I could. Okay, can't hear you. Lathe was running. Say that again. Over on this piece. You want on this. Or over here. You want me to go, oh, you want me to texture over the thick leather line? Okay, well, see how the, if you use your words, it helps? Now, I'm just mad now. Right. So I'm just going to finish this off just to show you what you would do with, say, on piece, and then I would put the texture over there just to keep the owner happy. So that looks nice. You've got two. I'll show you what it looks like from the other side in a second. Right, now the owner wants me to texture over the top of the burn ring. Yes, that's cool looking too. Again, I'll put yeah, I'd like that as well. Who said that? Yeah, I'd like to do that too, Woody. Complete revenge. Because if you heard the abuse I got in my ear, I tell ya. There you go. Right, I'm gonna put the beauty cam on again. Not that one. That's not the beauty cam. That's the beauty cam. And then I'll bring this over here. Excuse me, that's not a fart, honest. And I'll show you what all that kind of looks like. There you go. So, is that, can you see that? You can, I think. If I stop moving the bloody camera. So there you go. That's texturing and burning, and then these are your different burn lines. Obviously, with the thinner wire, you get a thinner burn. This was the, try and bring it right in so you can see it. That was burnt with the leather first, and then the texture over the top of it. This was the groove with the leather in it. This was the small burn line wire, the guitar wire. This was the thicker guitar wire. No, sorry, this was the thicker guitar wire, and this was burning it with the Formica. And then these grooves in where the bead are, the either side of that, were done with the lolly sticks. This was the burn with the friction of cloth on the edge. This was a lolly stick, I think. Can't remember. And then this one was texture and then leather over the top. So there's all different ways you can put embellishing with the burn rings, and it doesn't cost you anything. It's just stuff that you probably have lying around. Yeah, anything. Yeah, the only thing with the copper wire, Woody, you probably find that it stretches as it gets hot. With a steel cable, it doesn't give, but with copper, you can anneal copper. I'm only saying this because I kind of know what I'm talking about, being an ex-plumbing and heating engineer. Copper gets annealed with heat and gets soft. So I'd say it stretches and pulls. So you'd only be able to keep it on there for short amounts of time, I'd say. You wouldn't be able to kind of put a lot of friction on it, where the steel cables tend to not melt and break. But that's that. Right. I'll put it out to people. Now, would you like me to just quickly do a finial, a quick finial, or would you like me to end it there? It's entirely up to you. Because turn this into a pot and then do it. The only thing is with this, Leona, it's got a big dirty crack right down there. No, right across. And it goes right down. There's a pith. I bring the camera and show you. Well, I'll take it off and show you. But there's a pith and it's cracked right from the pith. It's splitting from the pith right through there. And I'll do a finial. Okay. Okay. I'll do a finial. What have I got up here? Oh, you want me to? No, I can burn something with the big one if you want. I could burn something. Let's burn the shit out of that spindle. That's what we'll do. Let's burn the crap out of the. It'd only be clickbait if I put it on the thumbnail. In fairness. Right, let me put that way up out the way of the heat. You want to see fire? I'll give you fire. No problem. Let me just get rid of the flammable. I can do that too. Right. Soak it in. I've got petrol. Oh, gas. American gas. Oh, don't duck, please. Don't encourage her. This burns stuff fast. So that's just doing a light scorch with it. As you can see, it brings all the grain out. Really pretty. And I could turn it up. The owner wouldn't waste good vodka on something like this. I actually forgot about the big torch, to be honest with you. See you, Chris. Thank you very much for joining. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Have I what, sorry? Yes, I have water and I have a fire extinguisher. Barbecuing with Steve. Right, there you go. That's burned the living bejesus out of that. So that's really, really, really burnt it. Okay. Okay. And what I do then is you can come in and I'll show you how deep texturing looks. I come in with the steel brush. There's a guy called Max Brozzi. He's an Irish wood turner. I would tell you to look him up. I would really insist you look him up and look at the stuff that that guy does. What he does is he doesn't do so much scorching, but he brings the grain out by sandblasting. So what he does is he'll get oak and he'll bleach it until it's pretty much white, and then he takes it out and he sandblasts the grain out of it, and if you see the effect it has, it's amazing. I have a sandblaster, Leonie, yes. Have you seen the mess that stuff makes? Maybe for another live. Maybe what I'll do is I will study it, how it's done, and then I'll do a live and we'll do some sandblasting. Maybe set it up outside when it's daylight. I've never done it, but it's something I would like to try. Cheers, sorry. Pull my trousers up. Right. Yeah, no, the buttons are knackered on mid-fly. Right. So, there you go. That's just very quick. I'm not going to waste any more time on that because it is a knackered piece of wood. But the heat, obviously, the more heat you put into it, the more you're going to dry it out, and the more stress the grain is, because it's highly grained. There's going to be a lot of stress on different parts of that wood, and when you heat it, it just expands and bang, you get the cracks. But that is all textured. That is all textured. Yeah, I can do that actually. I could do a bow chicken wow wow. I'll do a bow chicken wow wow shot for you, just for Leona. Leona wants a bow chicka wow wow shot, so I'm going to give her a bow chicka wow wow shot. So what did Steve do on his live? Well, he burnt the shit out of a piece of wood, then put oil on it. It looked great. So here we go. Cue sexy music. Bow, wow, wow, bow, wow, 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 wow. Burning just makes a piece of wood, especially if you take the grain out of it. look absolutely amazing. There you go. That's just one coat. I'm not rubbing my spindle anymore, Dark. Not unless you pay me. Right, there you go. So that's what that looks like. I'll bring it in a bit closer for you so you can see it. Now just ignore the cracks. It's just a piece. Oh, wrong way. There you go. You can see the textures come out of that. You run my fingers over all that texture. It's all just brought all the grain out of that. So let's throw that over there. Yes, I will probably do something with them. I won't waste the wood. I will probably, as Leona said, it would make maybe a cool jar or pot or something. But I'd have to stabilize those cracks. You can see the stress cracks come into it now where it's been heated up, going all different angles and directions. So we'll put that over there. Let me find a spindle that I can do a quick finial. Hello, hello, the hooty hoo. It was a mineral oil. You should be so lucky. Lucky, lucky, lucky. That's got holes in it. Don't want to use that. I wonder if I got a better piece of wood down here. I threw that spanner on the floor. Oh dear, no. Good golly gosh, that's got a split in it. Don't want to use that. That's not long enough. That fell on the floor. No, I've only got one resin pen blank left, and I've got an idea for that, so I don't want to waste it. This has got got a piece. I should do that. I should do that Banksia resin thingy on another live. We'll play with that. I want to put my chalk on. God, it's awful smoky in here. I don't know why that is. Oh, Robert has been laughing at me all night then. So, sorry for everything that you've witnessed tonight, Robert. Please don't report me to the authority. Right, it's in my chalk. Get it pretty much. Right. Alrighty. Finial time. For speed, I shall round it off with my. Yes, I have a door, and I I have a door, and I've got this huge fan. Alrighty, let's turn a finial. Turn, turn. I can turn a what? Make a giant matchstick, is it? All right, I'll do that rather than a finial. I'll do a matchstick. No, I will do a finial. I'll do a matchstick another night. Right, just want to sharpen my skew because it's very important that you have a sharp skew when you are doing such work, as it were, don't you know? Are there many in the chat that do intricate finials? You know, fancy thin finial turning? Anybody do it? I'm only just getting into doing it. So, yeah. It'll be a while before I have the likes of Cindy watching my lives. Oh, right. Do you know when you hit the off button, it goes off? Would you like to see me as well? Look at that. How's that? Okay. So, get my sleeves out of the way. Never done finials. Okay. I want to go faster. Full speed ahead. Finials are great for practicing your delicate toolmanship with the likes of a skew or a spindle gouge. Start off making thick, bulky finials, and then as you get more and more confidence, start getting thinner and thinner and thinner. That's round. I just want to get rid of some of the bulk down this end before I take the tailstock away. Okay, that's got me down to where I take my big tool rest out now so that I can get in close with the smaller one. Right, just for speed, I left the tailstock up there so I could put a bit of support in it. Take the tailstock away now. I'm going to get my smaller skew. It's got a good edge on it because I sharpened it yesterday. And the way I do these now, everyone does finials differently. I work from the very end. If I'm going to sand it, I'll do a piece, sand it, move back, sand it, and do it that way. Because as it gets thinner, when you've got a real thin top on it, as you get back here, it starts flexing and bouncing. So you want to get all your sanding and finishing done before you take away the bulk as you get further back towards the chuck. Remember, the chuck is spinning there as well. That's, you know, it's very easy to get into. Do you know what I'm going to do? I think I might bring the camera around so that you can see the tool work. I'll bring the camera around if I can get it over here so you can watch the tool work. Sorry guys, bear with me. We'll leave it on the main camera so you can see what I'm. How's that? It's probably a better view, is it? Because then it's just lots of sticks fixed together, and it's like a multi-moving type gizmo. It's hashed together, but it seems to be doing the job anyway. Right, so the whole thing is that we're supporting the end of this piece when we're working on it. Okay, so to start with, I want to bring down the very end. Because I want a very sharp point on the end. And you're just taking small bits away. Don't try and get over zealous with the amount you're taking off. The good thing about a sharp skew is you should have a nice shiny finish with your finishing cut. I don't know what wood this is. Could be it could be tree wood. So now I want to put a concaved feature on the very tip of this. So I'm just working that out to a point. Okay, so that's the point I want. Now I want to come in and I want to just put a cut in here and just work it back until I'm happy with how it looks. One more, like that. And now I've got an edge there to work with. I can do my final cut on the very tip of the finial. Like so. And then I want to start cutting into here. Now this is going to go really thin all the way up, and then we're going to have like a pear shape, kind of a third of the way up. So I can start taking some of this away. Now again, you're going to get vibration. The trick is to keep supporting that wood and just peeling back the wood like a pencil sharpener, really. Is there any questions so far? Is the camera angle okay for people? See, the thing is, you can do it with the tailstock up, but it means that you'd have to part off both ends of the finial when you're finished. You'd have to bring it down to a section. This is very thank you, Christine. So now I want to just start shaping in here where I want to come. And again, I'm using my hands to support as a steady rest. Bring this down. Gentle cuts. Can't rush. Well, I can't rush finials. There's people that do it a lot faster than I do. But I'm not about speed, to be honest with you. I just like enjoying the process. So now this, I'm bringing down the very back of what will be the crown of the finial. And just working to it. Now I've not done many of these. I'm still new to turning finials. Like I say, I've only just kind of got into doing them. So there's probably techniques that I've still got to learn. But this has worked for me so far. I'll tell you what, that blowtorch warmed this place up, I tell you. I don't know what wood this is, but it kind of peels. Sorry. I didn't hear that, I'm sorry. Not all of it. I heard the man I man. The line broke up a little bit. Sorry. I'm almost there with this. I mean, it goes a lot faster once I get this end bit done, but this is the kind of very tricky part on this end. There we go, that's where I want it, just there. Yeah, that's it. I like that. Just get rid of that little wiggly woggly. That's 25 pence to use that, by the way, folks, wiggly woggly. I don't know if Wayne's still there. Wayne does finials, so he's probably laughing at me doing this. Now, I find it a lot difficult. I mean, I can do it, but I find it a lot more difficult using, let's say, a spindle gouge doing this. I just don't find I have the same control as I would the skew. Okay, so I want to go really a lot thinner down here now, so start bringing this down. Always remembering to keep the tip of my skew at right angles, 12 o'clock away from the piece, and shear cutting all the time. As soon as I turn that skew any bit, it's going to catch. And when you're going this thin, there's no mercy. When you get a catch, you get a catch, and that's game over. As I've done many times practicing this, and could happen again this evening. But hey, what are you going to do? Still want to go thinner, still want to aesthetically pleasing to my eye. Dark. Hey, dark. You ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till I use my big one. Is there, how many in the chat are confident with the skew? I'm just interested to know. Okay, so I'm going to go just a tiny little bit more, so I'm looking up here. And now it'll be like a steep cut into this and bringing it, start creating the pear in a second. Okay, so we've got one. So out of, I don't know how many are watching and chatting, but so what is that? One or two that are confident, or? And do you know what? The skew has got so many uses. It really is an amazing tool. But it's the sort of thing that you have to continue. You see my fingers they are dirty from burning, but you can see the two clean areas there where I'm supporting the wood. Yeah, it's such a versatile tool. Right, so I'm going to start the top of my pear now. So I'm going to come right in, curve it in, and then bring the fade into the top of the finial. I'm at full speed, so my readout is broken, but this lathe on the gear ratio it's on at the moment, excuse me, sorry, Diana, it's doing about 2,600, I think. Faster the better with the skew, I find anyway. I tell you guys, that's such a shame. As soon as you get your confidence and you learn to use that skew, you'll wonder why you didn't learn it sooner. Honestly, it's such a pleasure of a tool to use when you get used to it. The fruit and veg and the bowls, coronavirus happened basically, and has given us a lot more time to do it. Yeah, it'll still be, as Leona just reminded me, it will still be going ahead. It will still be raffled. It will still continue. It will go to Maker Central 21, and yeah, it's all still a go as far as I know. I've not heard any different anyway. So you can just see there now, because I've gone really thin, I'm probably around about, probably hard to see on the camera, I'm about 4 mil all the way up to about 3 mil at the base of, and you can see it's starting to flex at the top. It's kind of doing this vibration thing, so I can't do any more with the tool at the end there. Okay, so that's the top of my pear. I'm going to move my tool rest along now, and then I'm going to work out where the bottom of my pear is going to go. I'm probably thinking round about there. It's like a pear drop. I call it a pear. It's a pear drop. The shape of a pear drop I kind of put on it. Just start shaping that in. Getting vibration. Like so. Support that because it's giving that vibration. All right, Jen, we'll see you. So I'm using the very tip of this skew, and I'm just cutting down the back half of the pear shape. I wonder, can I get my camera around here a bit more for you? That's about it, I think. So we're a bit rough here. I just want to clean up the pear shape a little bit. Rubber Dub wants me to be here all night. Trouble is, the owner gets to a point where I start hearing her snoring, and then it's kind of late enough then. I said, I stop working when the owner starts snoring. So there you go, that's kind of the pear drop that I'm on about. Now I can use, I don't like using the skew as a scraper too much on thin stuff, because it can vibrate. But just to take that little lip that I had. So now I want to, what do I want to do now? It's kind of up to you, the design you go with. I'm going to go with maybe, I'll go back cut in here. I'll bring the bottom of my pear in quite deep. I wonder why. Good one, Dark. That's pretty much spot on. So now you would sand that pretty much. Now I might just, do you know what I'll do, just so that I'll do a little bit of sanding, because this is just, what is this, 100 grit. And you just support it again with your finger, just to give you something to push against. Very end, you can see the vibration in it. Might not be picking up on the camera, and you can use your finger and thumb as a steady rest on the very end. You don't have to grip it, just literally just resting and spinning in your fingers, and you can do a little bit of sand there as well. Not much. Okay. So the owner's gone away for a couple of minutes. She'll be back. So if you've any questions, just hold them. Okay, so now we're going to start working back this way. And I'm going to take away some of the bulk by using the very tip of my skew. And the skew is on its flat. Can't take too much. Right, now I need to take a lot of this bulk away here, so I'm just going to work to that edge that I just made. Again, I want to go quite thin with this piece, so being quite aggressive with the cut, taking a lot out. Now before I go too thin back here, I need to clean this bit up here. So I'm supporting both sides of where I've just made that slot. And get the shape here, supporting the skew with my thumb as well, so that I've got control all the way around. There you go, that's quite a nice shape there. I like that little rim that I've got just on that, so I'm going to just make that stand out a bit more. And it's really just making it up as you go along. I don't have any particular design in my head. Okay, so I'm going to go thin here again for about till about there, I'd say. So I need to take this away. Now I will need to jump back and forwards a little bit and maybe grab the spindle gouge in a second, maybe a small spindle gouge. To get in the tight angles where I can't twist the skew. You can get in pretty much most of it with the skew. Just going back to the line that I just made. It's kind of a reference. And before I get too thin again, support it and start taking away this. I want a smooth transition from that cup just to the bottom. I don't know how much of this is actually showing up on the camera, guys. I hope most of it is. It's hard to get right in there for you. I might put a little bit of a bead on there, maybe. Yeah, I think I will. Bring that a bit thinner and then put a bead at the bottom. Okay. Good night, Jeff. Thank you very much for stopping in. So just try and get that bead defined at the bottom there. Just there we go. I like that. Let's see if I can get this to. I wonder if I can zoom. 1 second now, folks. Sorry. Just going to see, can I zoom in a little bit for you, folks? You can't hear me. Oh, sorry. Ba, ba, ba. I'm here. Can you not hear me? What? Oh, right. Yeah. No, I'm just trying to see if I can zoom me in a little bit. Just a little bit. There we go. That's zoomed a bit. Right. Okay. Sorry, I'm back. Don't panic. I'm still here. Like I haven't gone for a cup of tea or anything. Right. Tea would be nice. Right. So I'm just going to finish this concave bit here. To the bottom of the little bead. And now I've got to try and decide how I'm going to transition from this. I think what I'm going to do is do like a little cone. Like it'll be a bigger version of the tip, let's say. So now I want to just start cutting this away. Who said that? Thank you, Eva. Who's that, Mike? Cool. Sounds like a good story, that, Mike. There we go. I like that shape. So we've got a slightly bigger version of the cone that we've got on the top, trying to keep it all symmetrical. Leona is being attacked by a moth. Oh. Okay, thank you, Wayne and Robert. Stay safe at work, Wayne. Thank you for watching. I'll put pictures of the finished finial up on Facebook and Instagram so you can see it up close. It probably won't be too well finished. Because I'm kind of reducing the amount of sand in just to get the actual turning done for you. No, who was that? Becky, was it? Becky, it's not hard on the hands, no. When you're doing something like this, you'd need, I've got aged hands, let's put it that way. I've put my hands through a lot, so this kind of stuff I wouldn't feel much of the heat and stuff being transferred. Doing stuff like this when you're actually hands on with the wood would be a little bit harder, but no, knee joints, ankle joints, your back and your elbows get a little bit achy if you're standing at a lathe too long, but other than that I personally wouldn't find it too bad. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that, I think. Just gonna, oh, there's a little catch that I got on there, so I need to clean that off again. Just a little wispy wisp. Again, that's 25p if you want to use that in lives. Alright, I think I'm happy with that. So now it's just a matter of finishing off where I want to go. I'm half tempted to just do a long elongated tier and then the bottom, just to use all the wood up. So I think that's what I'll do. So I'm going to go with that being the middle of my tier. So the same amount of wood will be about there. So I need to reduce this. Good night, Robert. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate people staying there and being part of the show. It really is enjoyable. It's good to be back. Thank you. Yeah, I'll put a copy of all the phrases together for you, Stace. No problem. It'll be 25p though. Right, so now I need to bring this side down as well, just to get my proportions right. And the closer you get to the chuck, the more solid the wood is. It doesn't need as much support. Just going to touch my skew up because you can see there that it's peeling the wood away rather than cutting it now. So I need an edge back on my skew. Always be careful with the first cut when you've just sharpened. Get used to how it feels against the wood again. Baby, I know. Having a little sing along here, folks. Ignore us. Leona is 6 subs away from 250, folks. Can you try and make it 250 for her? 300 would be better, but 250. Do you know my most favourite Cat Stevens song is? Only because it reminds me of my child. My favourite Cat Stevens song is I'm So Sleepy. Just reminds me of my childhood. I'm so sleepy, yeah. I'm so sleepy, yeah. I can lay my head on a piece of lead and imagine it was a springy bed. I'm so sleepy, sleepy. Soon I'm gonna slip away. In the night I will be falling, falling. Don't know that one now. I have to look it up now. So I don't know if people can see what I'm trying to attempt here. It's like a long, it's like a big long rugby ball is what I'm going after. And I want it slim because my skew is at oh, what is it? Yeah, it's my skews are at 70. I get them way back as far as I can. Yeah, 70. It's right on the Pro Edge. I've got it right on the furthest setting that you can get it. I like a really, 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 really shallow bevel on my skews. Almost like using a knife. As you can see, I'm using just the last inch of the skew. I'm not even holding the handle. I'm literally just holding the end of the skew and using it like a knife. Okay, that is it. Yona does have a bowl video, I believe, don't you, Yona? You do. Didn't you do a natural edge bowl? Or was it a banana bowl? Or, no, what was it you did? Oh, you did the emergent bowl. That's what you did, wasn't it? Oh, I thought you did the emergent bowl. Okay, so I like that. Let's put that a little bit there. Straight across, my skews are straight across like that. I don't know if that's camera. They're straight. Yes, I just answered, I think. No, I don't round the bar off the tool rest because I like the skew to be good and solid on the top of my tool rest. If I've used my round bar before, and I just don't. It just feels like I haven't got the same control. I can really kind of put my finger against the back of this tool rest and like I say, use the skew like a knife. So no, I just tend to leave. Now it's rounded slightly just from years of use, but I don't do it purposely now. It's because I'm not talking. I'm being really. No, I'm not going to go back there. I was going to do a silly thing and try and clean that little bead up there, but I'll do that with sandpaper in a second. Right, I think I'm going to finish it up now at this end. So what I'll do is I'll bring this straight back here. I'm going to put a little detail cut where that transitions, like so. Yep. So a little detail cut there, and I'll try and get one up this end. This is where it could go wrong, folks, so bear with me, because I should have put this up here before I went doing the rugby ball. There we go, that got it. I got it all. Oh, hold on. There we go, I got away with it. So that's that. So now it's just a matter of doing the base here. Clean this up here. And down into a cup. Oh, that was my first catch of the finial. Really don't want catches now. Okay. Nice little clean cut to the bottom of that. And now I want to put a line in there, a line in there. If that's loud, I'm sorry. I can't hear it because I've got the earbuds in my ears, so I'm sorry. It's like a little honey pot at the bottom. Is the best way to describe this shape. This way it transitions to where it's going to go into whatever it's going to go into. Just like that, and then we'll finish it there. So we'll probably go there. So it looks a bit plain. Like so. Sorry, that just doesn't sound loud to me. And I can afford to be aggressive here because I'm close to the chuck. So now, obviously it's going to be going on something round on the top, so I want to just bring in a concaved base to it. Whoop. Can't see. Oh, there we go. Like this. I'm using a very tip, just taking it in, so that the base is concave. Now, if it's not 100%, I can always go in with a Dremel and clean that up. Now I'm just going to use my parting tool just to make a spigot to go into the bottom of whatever it's going to go, to go into the top of whatever it's going to go in. And again, I leave it quite small. That way it will fit into any size lid or it's that. And then I'll just get the 1/4 inch skew just to clean up the very inside. and continue with the concave. And that's pretty much a thin finial. Now you can see, can you see it? Is the camera showing how much it's vibrating at the end here now? That's what happens, you see. You'd never be able to, you can straighten it up a bit, but you'll never be able to sand that because you get a catch. I'll just run the sandpaper along these little bits that I've done here, and then we'll call that done. Night Woody, thank you very much for joining. Thanks for all the questions and for taking part. Really appreciate it, buddy. Now, I'm just, like I say, I'm just going over this with a bit of 100 grit. I could always make a drill a hole in a piece of wood, push this into it and get it spinning again to sand it at a later date if we want to. I'm not 100% happy with the shape of it, but like I said, it's just demonstrated what you can do with it. And then it's just a matter of parting her off. So support and boom, just like that. There you go. One fancy finial. Now there's just a little bit that needs sanding just there. Well, actually it just needs peeling off. It's a curly cue that needs, there we go. I got it. Just where I peeled it back with the, but to be honest with you, you'd near enough get away with, that was just a quick sand. I can't see really any tool marks in that. So I'm sorry. I'll bring back the other camera and I'll show you it on that one. There we go. And I can put this away over there. What have I got that I can put it against? Maybe that piece of light wood. There you go. Is that showing up? Maybe not. Here you go. I can size the very, just before it goes to the tip, and we're down to 2.5 millimeters at the very end. Thank you, Carol. Practice, 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 and you'll get you. I'm not sure. Carol, do you turn? I can't remember. Thanks, Bobby. I had the full beard, Dark, and I was most disappointed. I had a full, proper, big, thick beard, and then I had to go back to work for 2 weeks after lockdown. Well, I didn't have to. That's a lie. I volunteered to go back and work a few days, and because of the masks that we had to wear, I had to shave it off because they wanted it. Yeah, they wanted it as hygienic because it's special needs and vulnerable kids I was working with. So yeah, so there's finial. That's lots of fire and burning. I hope you've enjoyed it, guys. It's been awesome. Oh, here. I have seen it all now. You see, come to Ireland, folks, right? And you put your can of drink down for 2 minutes, right? And you have some scumbag comes along and starts drinking it. Look at that. Mr. Slug, that's my can of Coke. Can I have some, please? Thank you. You can have the rest. How the feck did he get all the way up onto my counter, onto my can of Coke? Oh dear, someone's going completely freaked in my ears for some reason. I don't know why. Well, guys, I'm gonna call it a night. Leona's actually vomiting into her vodka now, I think. Maybe he crawled out of the can. Maybe that's what it is. Hey, you shouldn't diss slugs. Do you know why? They're homeless snails. Right. Thank you very Thanks very much, guys. Oh, that's terrible language for using in my chat, Leona Faye Woodturning. Right. Thank you very much, everybody. You've all been awesome. Thanks so much for the super chats. It's good to be back. If you have any ideas what you want to see me do next Monday, I'll come back next Monday if you want me. And I'll think of something to do, maybe a hollow form or something. I've got some resin on its way that I want to practice with, so maybe not actually pouring resin. I've got some resin blanks on the way, so I'm going to play with those. I have got this blank here that Leona made a while ago. It's Banksia pods and resin and nuts or something in there. I can't remember, but what Leona doesn't have a pressure pot, so there is voids in there. So I'll have to be careful, and I don't have resin, so filling it and fixing it might be a bit hard, but we might see what we can do with that. Maybe it could just explode everywhere. I don't know. But other than that, thank you very much, Rubber Dubber Steve. Where's that? I just had a thought. Where's that slug? I'm hungry. No. Where's? Oh, here we go. Look at that. Fits and everything. Look at that. It's a little finial for me resin ball. No, looks crap. But anyway, right. Right, guys, thank you very much. Slug's about to fall into the can. I'm going to check out. Thanks, guys. I'll see you again on Monday. Oh, keep an eye out. Probably Wednesday, just before Wayne's live. I'm just going to jump on probably for about 10 minutes just because I'm going to do the draw for this Warner Brothers art wall art from the video. So I've got all the entries logged down now, so I'm just going to do a random draw and find out who wins the Warner Brothers wall art. So that'll be on Wednesday, probably just before Wayne's live or somewhere around there, maybe a bit earlier, just for 10 minutes. But keep your eyes out. I'll put a notification up and I'll go live and do a live draw, and then I'll leave again. All right, guys, thank you very much. I shall see you again soon. Thank you, Leona, for being eWorm. You've been awesome as ever. it wouldn't be as funny without you, I don't think. But yeah, thanks very much for sticking with me, guys. It was brilliant to have such a good crowd in as well. Bye. What are we? What are we? It's written at the bottom of the screen. We are, without the art, but we are forking bananas. See you guys. Bye. Yes.